ES noted, and I could, I could support that. We all started with NIPS, Nigerian International Petroleum Summit. And I think in the middle of it, I remember the Minister Silva now leading us through another charge in alignment with what the global perspective is, and we launched the Decade of Gas. Are we beginning to see a situation where we need to look at that working document? Because that tends to capture our alignment with energy transition. Now we're looking at the local content perspective, and we're seeing further layers that will require strengthening in terms of capacity, in terms of the working document, in terms of financing. If eventually this is the way we need to go, how do we find the financing to do it? If we can't find it internationally, are we going to be stuck then walk our way back and say, you know what, let's just go and beg them. We're not doing it again. Let's ask them what they want us to do so we can get the funding. Anyone, Alex? Okay, okay.
If I may, I think that's a very critical point in terms of the funding. There's a lot of activism globally in terms of investments in traditional fossil fuel companies and a drive towards a lot of pressure on banks and international banks to move funding away from traditional oil and gas into renewables. It's the mood, and it may be a bandwagon, but we're caught by it. And so in terms of, when we go out, I was at COP27 in Egypt last year, and you're trying to, a lot of renewable projects, you still have to prove the concept in Nigeria. Engineer Wabote talked about solar electric vehicles and things like how well will they do in our environment with corrosion, where are the charging points, how are they going to be powered. These are things that you really, really need to discuss and look into. Are we going to take raw lithium from here, refine it or process it abroad, buy the batteries and bring them here at +1? All of these things are really important in the conversation. And so, we need to understand that, again, talking about joined up thinking, we are not going to get the foreign direct investment that we need and the investment, even in gas or in renewables, if at the end of the day, the policy from a finance perspective, there's still foreign currency risk. There's still the risk of being able to repatriate your dividends or even the monies that you bring in to invest in indigenous companies, because NCDMB cannot do it all. They cannot fund it all. And the energy need locally is just huge. And so these are things that we just need to understand, that it is a process, and we can't, we still have to maintain the right energy mix, and we still need to do business with the West. And at the same time, we need to be building our own local capacity, our own local economy, and we need to be able to develop. We can do business without risking our own development. And so we need to look at the things in terms of renewables that work for us, that actually are low-hanging fruits, invest in that, and we also need to build the capacity as far as education is concerned. That is really my major concern. The level of education, the investment in research and development and innovation, and also the ability to keep our graduates who we have then trained in our companies locally and not lose them again to the West, because there is also a human resource problem globally. Thank you.